Bad clap. That was a good
Do you want me to
clap.
clap?
Welcome to Never Had the Pleasure.
Hey, YouTubers.
So the idea with this show is we check out something that we've never had the pleasure of seeing before.
Expectations and predictions before we see it, and then after we'll give you our thoughts, feelings, and impressions.
Yeah. Are we
Favorite
taking
characters.
it to the litter box? Or what do they do at the end? Or sacrificing to achieve immortality or something? I'm told.
We're talking about Cats. 2019 musical extravaganza. Obviously a big box office hit.
Yeah.
Boffo-bio.
Derulo.
It's funny that we're doing this. I think normally we're going to watch things that I really don't know very much about at all, especially in terms of plot. But I'm told that the plot for Cats is extraordinarily simple.
I don't actually know that much about the plot. I only know Mom's Andrew Lloyd Webber Gold album. I think there are 2 songs from Cats. Memory is pretty contextless. It could be from anything and about anything.
The one everybody
The other one
knows.
is Magical Mr. McCavity. And that could come from no other cultural vector than Andrew Lloyd Webber in the 80s. So yeah, I don't know a ton about the plot. Cats is kind of an interesting thing for us to do on this show. We've heard some riffs and I've listened to a podcast or 2 that mentioned it. So I've never had the direct pleasure, but I've had a lot of ancillary pleasure.
Yeah, I've heard people mocking the stage musical itself for years, and everything that I've heard about the movie, it adds on another layer with all the effects work. Somebody was tasked exclusively with CGIing out buttholes once that first trailer came out. And now people are...
So the first trailer had buttholes?
No, I think this is a new revelation from this last week. The first pass at the movie did have digital buttholes on everybody. After everybody freaked out about how creepy and bad the CGI looked, somebody was tasked with solely removing that.
Yeah, someone has a drinking problem now.
People are like demanding the butthole cut.
Okay.
Like the Snyder cut. The poor CGI people, it's just a bad idea, probably. I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna keep as open in mind as possible.
Good approach.
I am expecting it to have a lot of gold for us.
Our sort of working thesis with stuff that has been more broadly covered elsewhere is that there's always so much more. Camp classics or bad movies tend to get distilled down to 2 or 3 quick beats of awfulness, and then the rest is just consigned to history. I have an idea that there's more to explore in Cats than has been memed. I think there's more meme moments.
I've heard a lot of discussion about it generally, but haven't really heard all that many specific crazy moments from it. It'll be fun to go over them. Do we maybe want to go over the cast?
Yeah.
Because it's quite a cast.
Yes, let's. I have some questions.
I have questions about why people said yes. I also have questions about like how Jason Derulo got into what must have been conceived as a high profile, like prestige musical, at least when it was greenlit.
This is a movie that Taylor Swift and Jason Derulo were both asked to do and both said yes to. That Venn diagram doesn't have a lot of overlap.
When they were casting Les Mis, it was rumored that Taylor Swift was going to be in that. Maybe she's always wanted to do
a musical,
something like this. And also, obviously, a get for them to have T-Swizzle.
Hey, hey, T-Swizzle, T-Swizzle, T-Pizzle, T-Pizzle.
I'm like 8'4", blonde hair to the floor. You shorties never thought I dreamed about rapping hardcore.
Sorry. Taylor Swift in the film.
Yeah. Idris Elba is in it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dame Judi Dench.
That reads.
Sir Ian McKellen.
Those sound like paychecks.
We got Jennifer Hudson.
Sure.
I understand that casting.
Pipes for days.
Yeah. And some new ballerina lady. She got an and introducing credit.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her!
Introduced and
now she's been introduced.
Now, I guess we'll see.
So, you're Idris Elba. Why do you say yes to Cats?
I feel like he doesn't make the best decisions. He could really be pretty prestige-y if he wanted to. But he does like Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, I totally understand. That is an audition for a superhero role. Maybe it finally dawned on him he's really never gonna be James Bond. He's just on a self-destructive spiral down.
Poor guy.
For the record, I was strongly pro Idris Elba Bond.
Before it was a thing.
Yeah.
I can vouch.
Thank you.
It's like how you guys can vouch that I was early on Call me maybe.
You were an early Carly adopter.
Yeah. Oh, there's also James Corden, and now you're really excited to see this, and Rebel Wilson.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I think that's the cast.
Director?
Les Mis. Wait, King's Throne. No, King's Speech. Anyways, now he's doing cats. What do you expect these cats to be up to? What do you think their day-to-day lives are like? Do they have owners?
I don't know. I've seen the first trailer. Like the infamous trailer. I've also seen some program photos from the original's run. They've like very purposefully moved away from that aesthetic. Michael Jackson stage outfit.
Almost like punk cats, kind of.
Yeah. To a more like au naturel.
Yeah, from the addition of buttholes. They're going for natural.
They made a bunch of really weird choices.
Like what they were shooting for is bridging the gap between CGI cat and like, we know that these are humans. That gap has the vast
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Maybe never has it looked wider.
Much like Homer Simpson, they crashed.
So I don't know what to expect. The only thing I know for sure about the plot is that they are cats and they have a mischievous presence among them, a devious cat, Idris Elba, and he does some hijinks. And at one point in the musical, I know they turn into a train. Like they all like... No, like they contort themselves into a human pyramid style locomotive engine.
Oh my.
Which a friend told me, I mean, I don't expect that to make it into the movie, though who knows. But I'm a little worried that he's misremembering and it was actually from Starlight Express.
I'm so beautiful. I'm pumping iron.
I hope we find out if they have owners. If they don't have owners, are they street cats? But there are humans like the Charlie Brown parents.
It would be fun if there's street cats and then like cats with owners.
This isn't Aristocats, Mike.
Like a class yeah, I guess so. It should just be live action Aristocats, which I'm sure is right around the corner.
Coming straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Gosling can save Jazz again as a cat.
Completely see him getting cast. I could totally see him getting cast as
Tom O'Malley,
Tom
the
O'Malley.
alley cat.
Is it long?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm excited to track the scaling with the items they interact with and the sets.
We don't have a ton of context to go on to make realistic predictions, but those aren't fun anyways. So let's make a wild prediction that we hope is in the movie.
Wild prediction. Somebody takes a shit in a litter box.
I do question whether there will be a litter box in the movie.
That's my prediction. I want to see Dame Judi Dench taking a shit in a box.
And I want to see Dame Judi Dench lovingly lick clean another cat. It can be motherly, it can be erotic, and I'm not fussed either way. That seems like a natural use of her gravitas. So I guess wish us luck with our hopes and predictions. And we'll see you back after we watch with our take.
Hype and hot take. Join us, won't you? For cats.
We will be back like that. Oh boy, someone's in a jellicle mood. This movie was very jellicle.
Under this very theatrical drama club.
It's a tribute to
lighting.
Them. To you and our like shaky ass backdrop. Is that a Jason Derulo song? I feel like he has a song about wiggling.
It's like, oh god, we're gonna get copyright claim.
If we want to proceed into main takeaways,
yeah,
I totally understand why the internet savaged this movie. The effects, like, boy, we've got some things to say about them. But I think at core, this movie was probably not made for you. It wasn't really made for me. I feel a little bad going in on it because it was clearly made in good faith for a group of people that just doesn't happen to include me.
Yeah.
Like, this is for sensitive theater nerds with teenage taste profiles.
And I think just like families.
Kids that are going to grow up to be drama nerds. And their moms who used to be high school drama nerds.
The same kind of like basic audience The Greatest Showman went after, right?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It makes sense that they made the movie, it kind of confuses me. The idea that this film and a film based on that Broadway show was ever, like, positioned as an awards contender. It's so broad.
Cats was removed from Universal's For Your Consideration page. It was on, and then they removed it.
It is weird to me that it wasn't a success in a way.
The success of Cats is yet to be told, because it appeals to family and kind of, like, basics. It must be said. The appeal to basics cannot be denied. It'll do pretty well on physical media. This movie will have a no pun intended, a long tail. It's got some definite, like, camp public screening upside,
Yeah.
I'd say. I could see it in the tier just beneath Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It wasn't as weird to me. It's the kind of thing that I see it, I accept it, and I go along with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good about that with my movie watching.
Me too. Especially when I feel like a movie is being made in good faith, which I feel like this was. I'm pretty open to meeting a movie more than halfway. The conundrum of the Uncanny Valley is that the closer you get to reality, the more off-putting it gets. Until you're out of the valley, it's a very steep climb out. And this movie was fairly close, and in some ways that amplified the uncanniness. And the simplicity of those fixes makes it more confounding that it was released in the shape that it was. All they really had to do was put some fine fur into the cheekbones and forehead.
Like on the actual face.
Yeah. They needed to catify people's noses a little bit. If it had made those couple fixes to the face, and then, and this is for a higher pay grade than me, figured out the hands and the feet.
On so many of the characters are just hands. There's no fur. It's not a paw.
That were like was rat very hands. Glaring.
Especially on James Corden.
And
like
on,
a rat.
And on Magical Mr. Mephistopheles.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I was like, take some more time.
I don't know if we want to front load the talk about the effects. Well, that's really what people came for,
probably.
Like
we have so much to talk about.
The variance in quality on the cat effects was pretty staggering. There's a very central cat. The integration of his face was like Snapchat filter bad.
Yeah, a lot of the ensemble had. Which I guess makes sense. Especially considering they had to redo a lot of the effects in a rush. They weren't wasting those hours and dollars on that guy. They're spending it on Taylor Swift.
10 years in the future, this movie, the kids that are watching this in elementary school now, by the time they're in high school, they will be able to execute a product that's dangerously close to this in an augmented reality hollow suite in their like AV club. And that's crazy.
It looks ridiculous. I will absolutely give it that. But for me, once I accepted it. I
couldn't quite cross that bridge all the way consistently.
Fair enough.
I will say the action was legible and the audio was well mixed. I know that's been a consistent criticism of of this sort of recent, and I've never seen La La Land. I've never had what I'm certain I would find to be a very dubious pleasure.
My mind always goes to La La Land.
The seat of your rage. I'll also say older cats worked better because old people just have a fine fuzz on their face. Judi Dench just always has that peach fuzz. She looked much more natural as a cat.
They should have had an all-geriatric cast. Geriatric cats. I think we got our title.
Geriatric.
Do you think this would have been better as an animated movie?
No. I would make those tweaks that I suggested, but otherwise keep it the way it was. What are your alternatives? You go full CGI. That doesn't work as well for like theater kids.
Yeah, you lose the like performative aspects.
The sort of balletic movements and fluidity of the characters. That's really hard and I think still very expensive to animate well. The other alternative is Broadway thriller video punk cats, and that's just not going to work. That kind of makeup is meant for the stage when you are even in a good seat, like 40 or 50 feet away. That look doesn't work up close. So they didn't have great alternatives.
And I think like beyond just the CGI, The actual performances, I wasn't ever like convinced that I was looking at cats. They appeared much more to be acting like monkeys, which makes sense. It's humans covered in fur
with
like
a tail,
crawling
with
around. I think they should have embraced being a cat more.
Yeah, sort of like cat women of years past. And there's so many Catwomen to choose from.
Think about Catwoman.
There's a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. There's Eartha Kitt Catwoman, and there's, of course, the gold standard.
Oh, my favorite Catwoman. She was such a convincing Catwoman.
She really did go in on the cattiness.
She committed.
Yeah, I think we've had some very committed Catwomen. We've been blessed in that way in our culture. It had the color palette of like a Moulin Rouge or Batman Forever. I think if it had been directed by Baz Luhrmann or Joel Schumacher, the kind of like hyperkinetic editing style would have pushed it a lot further.
Yeah.
And this movie was already beyond what people could take. Speculating about how other directors might have handled the execution. The internet is not being thankful enough that Tim Burton didn't direct this. I would take the effects in this over even the trailer for Alice in Wonderland any fucking day.
I could see him back in the day doing an interesting job with this, but modern day, I don't want that.
If you made a supercut of just the times in the movie when someone is saying the word jellicle, it would have been 20 minutes long.
We still don't know what jellicle is.
It's a state of mind.
Is it? We gotta move on. We gotta dig into this
fair enough.
pile of fish. Let's take it from the top.
This movie really throws you right into the middle of things. Just like our protagonist, the wide-eyed Victoria.
Baby V.
Baby V.
Vanessa Hudgens. Baby V.
We just jump in. And we just jump in again and again and again with a new 6-minute song. I'll say the branding for all of the characters in this movie is very strong. They all get a way too long song. My name is this, and I'm this kind of cat, and I do this, and I live here.
I'm Greggy McBiggy, the quarantine cat, and I'm cooped up in this house, and that's that. Like, I could win. I could be the jellicle choice.
That was you?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, in a way, this movie is tough to cover, tip to tail, pun intended, because it is like a true talent show format.
We're at the first song. It's an alley song, and we're introduced to this jellicle gangs, and they're singing their jellicle song.
Yeah.
And that's basically the lyrics of the song. The railway cat, the magical cat, the just like main male cat guy.
Who had no identity.
Yeah, he was just like the leader of maybe like a gang.
It did have a kind of a vibe of like the Warriors.
Yeah, but there's like no opposing gangs.
Yeah.
It totally could have been like a West Side Story thing. But instead, they decided to take story out of the equation.
West Side talent show.
Jellicle song for jellicle cats.
Yep. Fast forward 8 minutes. The next scene.
Wait. We're going to talk more about the song. There's a whole part where they're just going like, pragmatical cats, political cats, jellicle cats, and fanatical cats.
And that went on for a while. Despite each cat getting a 6-minute opportunity to introduce their brand.
Yeah.
I do not know what any of their names are.
I have like a mumbly jumble for each one.
That may be one of their names.
Yeah, it could work. We got our first information about the jellicle ball,
which this thin plot hangs itself on.
A mystical, all-powerful cat named Old Deuteronomy will eventually join the ball and make the jellicle choice of who will descend to the Heaviside layers, like their heaven, I guess.
Which is a weird name.
They gotta have a name.
T.S. Eliot, man.
I'm a T.S. idiot. I don't know anything about T.S. Eliot. What's his deal?
I think he is a almost proto-psychedelic poet. Even his more serious work is still very
me, and I feel
him.
The original Kim Cattrall.
I read poetry and sonnets, and he plays the upright bass.
Well, he bit all the he-dogs and winked at all the she-dogs. The town never knew such a hullabaloo.
She could have been like a sexy cat.
Yeah, I would have put her in the Taylor Swift role.
Yeah.
Vamp it up.
Hollywood and their ageism. Could have had Kim Cattrall. They went with Taylor Swift.
This is madness. We enter a macabre domestic scene centered around Rebel Wilson.
The song is What Makes a Gumby Cat a Bumpy Cat?
Yeah, and I'm confused because
I don't know what
is she a Gumby cat?
What's a Gumby cat?
Or a jellicle cat or both?
She is kind of a bumpy cat. She's like up there doing it.
She's got some curves. It was like lumpy.
She's kind of lazy, but when she performs, she's pretty committed.
Yep.
A bumpy cat.
Committed enough to remove a suit of her own fur to reveal underneath more of a matching fur that is wearing like a Vegas showgirl suit.
There were so many double fur
I was very
suits
confused.
and fur coats.
Yeah, like Judi Dench is wearing very flossy
Yeah.
fur coat made of her own fur that appeared to be connected to her flesh.
Yeah. Disturbing. The peeling of her skin.
Bearing in mind, we just watched Hannibal.
It was definitely one of those moments of absurdity, and it came right after the human cockroach mice hybrid.
This movie didn't make back its cost at the box office, so it's going to be dependent on long-term staying power. Would it have been smart to give it the perenniality of Shane Black level holiday dressing? The Rebel Wilson scene had that ambiance, but it was really torpedoed by the cockroaches with faces. No one tells you about the cockroaches.
Yeah, there are some real, like,
Body horror.
just like moments of absurdity.
If it was in Babe Pig in the City, you would understand the intentionality to give a cockroach a face. Whereas here, it just feels very blithe. It just feels kind of like someone didn't think it through, which is insane.
And she's just like,
Yes, she's just eating them. And they appear to have a degree of sentience.
and
They,
human faces.
yeah,
I'm just saying there's some connective
This
tissue
is like-
between cats and Hannibal.
more than you might have thought. This movie's failure to stick the landing is so bizarre. There are things I would have thought it impossible not to think through. But here we are.
I wrote down some lyrics here.
Oh no, I wasn't made aware of this.
I have a Gumby cat in mind. Her name is Jenny Andercott. She sits and sits and sits and sits. And that's what makes a Gumby cat a bumpy cat.
but that's not accurate.
It's not
I think
worth.
I can't dig into that.
And every cat we meet, they're just telling and not showing at all.
Yeah, they're constantly in motion. Jason Derulo.
He's in like a
sort of
milk
like-
bar.
He's a
milk bar
nightlife cat. He's like a lady killer, late night
I
cat.
didn't get that. I just thought he was a performative cat. I think they kept calling him a curious cat. Promiscuous cat?
I feel like Jason Derulo did not come away from this project happy. I would not be thrilled to have a joke about being neutered on my filmography as a lady killer R&B singer. That'll come up at the Aces.
I thought Derulo made for a pretty cute cat. He had a cute face.
To each their own. I really admire, like, he will commit. This guy will go in on a project. Let's not forget that like Connect game solo.
He committed. He did an accent.
I didn't even notice. It must have been very natural.
I rolled with it. Rolling with the cats. So he's Rum Tum Tugger. What a song he gets. Starts and comes to a complete halt and then starts again.
See, that was so par for the course for me by this point. Every song is sectioned off into these sort of like mini set pieces. Just when you think it's over, there's another 2 minutes.
All throughout Derulo's number, we keep getting Rebel Wilson pop and lock in and making like milk puns.
I was worried at that point that they were going to let her and James Corden just run rampant over the whole thing. The
Gilding Crest? What's...
I'm a TS idiot.
Gildenkrantz and Rosenstern?
Yeah.
Rosenstern and Gildenkrantz.
They're like the Timon and Pumbaa.
They're really like the Pumbaa and Pumbaa.
Crappy kids movie level humor. Some
Yeah.
blue sky animation shit.
Absolutely. But they more or less clamped down on that. It didn't turn into a Paul Feig level improvisational mess. They are, I think, wisely sidelined. But there's enough of them hamming it up and going really broad. People that enjoy that kind of thing, I think, are going to be happy.
For the kids. So next, Grisabella, the glamour cat. Well, quite a name. Strolls down the street.
For a vibe check. Fallen woman. What a fun archetype.
What a fun time she must have had on set. Just moping about.
Her, like, raggedy coat looked like it was made of, like,
drowned.
fish skins. Whitney Houston End Days vibes.
So her story is she went along with McCavity. His charms, as we see, are basically kind of approaches the cats like, hey, I'm here. How about we do something else?
And then he says, McCavity! And spirits you away to a barge.
Like, it's not hard. Really.
Don't make it hard.
This world is pretty low risk. It's not like there's
They're
super
under moral
hungry.
threat. A cat can fall.
What did you think of Elba?
What a scourge. I don't know why he had the colored contacts. But otherwise, I have no issues. I was getting a Pennywise vibe. He'll lure you into a back alley with sleight of hand, but then abduct you to a dark place. It was very confusing that they use Mephistopheles for another cat, because McCavity is clearly a Satan surrogate. Mephistopheles should be reserved for that character. Those names are too similar. I got it wrong in the pre-session. I want everyone to cut me some slack.
He got what the movie was doing.
More or less everybody got what the movie was doing. Victoria, the protagonist cat,
She doesn't really have much to do other than very earnestly invest in what's going on.
It's tough because she's not given much to do. I don't want to like lay it on her
that
she only has the one facial expression, but she does only have the one facial expression. Such a Hallmark Christmas movie heroine vibe.
Digital fur technology doesn't help with that
and
stuff.
her face in particular, I hurt for not having any fur. Her pores were removed to even a below human level, kind of like porcelain mask.
Did anybody have whiskers? The actress is apparently held in very high regard as a ballerina. Isn't particularly cat-like. I've never seen a cat do a
pas de bourrée.
Then we get Mr. James Corden rolling on in as a particularly fancy cat. I was gonna say his name's Buster Scruggs, but it's Bustopher Jones. Another like moment like out of my body. James Corden rolling around in like fish bones and just going like
sort of like carnal lust for food.
Yeah, to witness this in real life. God, I want that footage.
Yeah. I guess he's one of two cats that have a cat-sized top hat.
He had like a built-in bow tie, like fur shape.
Oh my god.
There was some weird like accessorizing. Some of the cats were wearing shoes, like sneakers. He disappears, James Corden, and for some reason says ineffable. I don't know why. Baby V, Veronica, Victoria, whatever.
Let's just call her Baby V. I feel like that nickname is up for grabs.
No more Vanessa Hudgens.
She will not be needing a nickname.
Sorry, but like, it's a virus. I respect it. Like, yeah, people are gonna die.
I'm sorry, but she makes quick friends with the twins. They lure Baby V into somebody's house.
Yep, they sing about, we do this in the house. We have this sort of attitude towards things.
This was maybe the one song where it was about something. It was about like us being cats in a house and messing things up.
You were saying before that a lot of the songs tell rather than show.
Yeah.
And this one was a little bit more illustrative. In its way, it moves the meager plot forward. Baby V and magical Mr. Mephistopheles entering a more romantic phase to their relationship. Which, because this movie takes place in one night, their relationship is minutes old.
But he comes in, he stumbles into some lady's shoes and saves the day.
And I think this is a good time to wade into the scaling.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing I don't really notice. I notice sometimes they are mouse-sized. The high heel that Pratt falls into is as big as he is. That's not how big cats are.
Part of the musical number, they're dancing down this set of stairs. It was so narrow. It's supposed to be this grand staircase, and it's just like only me could fit on it.
It's fucking with the physical continuity
yeah.
of the world. The most generous way that I could describe it, this movie has the relationship to scaling that Spring Garfield does to population.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just as big or as small a town as the episode calls for.
So Judi Dench walks up
Old
in
dude.
her sporting her fur of herself.
Lil Kim fur.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more of a foxy brown fur.
Sure.
It's of a caliber that you would give your wife, not your mistress.
Old dude
Yep.
rolls on up, and she announces that it's time for her to make the jellicle choice.
Seemingly out of nowhere.
Bitch, where you been? They've been jellicle fucking singing for jellicle 40 minutes.
Yeah, for you. You are the sole judge.
Are the cats who have already performed not eligible?
Maybe she's omniscient.
Again, we get a song with all the jellicle crew as they gather in the theater for the jellicle ball.
And the choreography is straight out of like the apeshit music video.
Oh, it had a Suspiria vibe.
Oh, you're talking about the Luca Guadagnino?
Yeah, there was a part where it was just like the kind of dance they would do in Suspirias, like their bowels were ripped out from them.
Oh boy.
And the music
I'm
didn't help
I'm glad we didn't see that.
From
Again,
some
back to Animal.
Finally, everybody's gathered for the jellicle ball, and they have a bit of a jellicle dance-off. Our baby V, she sneaks back out into the London street to have a little bonding moment with Grisabella. Just get memories again? I guess that's how a musical works.
Baby V, in the words of Aaliyah, is a positive, motivating force within Grisabella's life. Old Grizz really owes her everything, doesn't she?
Yeah, she really turned those jellicles around. Grisabella and Baby V both have their songs, and then Judi Dench has like a response song. Again, just such nonsense. But the meaning results in a happiness we have experienced before. Like, okay.
I mean, all the other cats seem like pretty dim bulbs. Old dude can just run the tables on them.
See Ian McKellen pops up. He's kind of been lingering around.
And he should have stayed lingering.
Maybe my favorite moment of the movie. Judi Dench, as she's watching McKellen, really going with it, just lifts her leg and goes like,
yeah. I feel like they just misapplied the maquette from Rumor Wilson? What's her name?
Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson. It's not our fault.
It's like wrong face.
Yeah, some like new CGI artist got the wrong.
That was
for
the
that.
closest we got to someone shitting in a litter box.
It's also the closest we got to an erotic tongue bath.
I appreciate it. Overall, I wanted more animal instincts.
We go into Magical Mr. Mephistopheles. You can do it. You just need
Well,
to
we've got the
believe in
railway
yourself.
cat first.
Oh, God. I don't have much to say.
thought
I already
it
talked
was-
about his nose.
It's the first time we enter a fantasy sequence because they start in the theater and through his performance are transported onto
Straight
a
out of an
train
American
car.
in Paris.
I was starting to get a little bit sick of the same London street and theater. They needed to get out of there for a bit. Along comes Miss Taylor Swift, Miss Americana herself.
It's nice to see her get to really vamp it up.
Yeah.
She's got no curves. Diplo was right. I'm sorry, but it's true.
What do you say about her?
That she has no ass.
Fair enough.
But, like, in CGI...
She committed in a
I did.
Derulo-esque fashion.
She'll probably come out as better than Derulo.
Swift performs,
Mm-hmm.
talking all about macavity. He shows up and tries to tell Judi Dench, you have to pick me, I'm the only one here.
He tries to win on a complete technicality.
The nerve.
He doesn't even Tanya Harding it. It's like, sure, she hampered the competition, but she still performed. I mean, I'm no apologist. But she was real.
She tells him that, I choose the cat who deserves a new life, a cat with soul. Criteria is all over the place for this talent show.
She's looking for the cat that most bears their true self. It's not like a technical assessment. It's an act of discernment.
Well, that lead jellicle steered me wrong. Like we said, old Doots ain't falling for McCavity's tricks. He aways with her.
Yep.
Disappears to the barge, and she gives a great line. You'll never be my jellicle choice. And Mr. Mephistopheles brings her back to the theater. McCavity is not a threat at all. Baby V sees Grisabella outside and
She says it's been 90 minutes. It's about time
for
for
a
a
third
showstopper.
time.
Let's wrap this up. No complaints here.
Anything to say about memories?
Felt like she waited pretty late in the song to go big. Some of the musical numbers had a little bit too much understatedness. Magical Mr. Mephistopheles is the only other song that I know because it's on Andrew Lloyd Webber Gold.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mom. It's like a barn burner on that album. Like, I think it's supposed to be like a big number, and it was a little muted. I respect the choice to kind of like keep it a little bit on a simmer.
Especially compared to her songs from Dreamgirls. She really goes hard from the get-go. And, oh, joy of joys, Grisabella is the jellicle choice. Oh, what a wonderful moment for us.
Yeah.
And they bring down the chandelier off to the heavy side layer.
And it didn't at all feel like the end of Midsommar.
I've never had the pleasure.
Whoa.
And then this is where I really lost it. Judi Dench breaking the fourth wall, addressing us directly. I'm done with this fucking movie. Just lecturing us about how to properly address a cat. You must bow and say, "Oh, cat."
The day I
deign. You're supposed to provide caviar.
This
the
princess
cat.
culture is really getting out of hand. Fancy feast isn't enough.
That's all you're getting.
People talk about the mainstreaming of luxury culture.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on a dame for perpetuating it.
I just really resented being
Being
lectured
lectured
at.
to.
Like, I'm done with all y'all.
We followed you. Not necessarily my thing, but I'm along for the ride. And then at the end, you're gonna tell me how to act.
I resented what they were serving up, but we had a moment to have some fun. Oh.
A little bit of a Quentin Crisp vibe.
Quentin Crisp?
When these people came to me and said, "We should like to make a film of your life," I said, "Yes, do. Films are fantasies. Films are magical illusions."
Thank you for...
That was exhausting.
Exhausting, but also exhilarating.
Yeah, we had so much more than I thought we would.
Cat's definitely, like, it's a rich gumbo.
Of James Corden trash.
Fish bones. And where do you go from there? I feel like this kind of defies rating. I want to sort of go easy on it, but at the same time, this is a movie set in a world where cockroaches have faces and a cat can win a talent show to attain reincarnation bestowed on them by a demigod that walks among them. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's asking you to accept a lot. I said I was going to move to, like, a Michelin star system, and I would give this 1 star. It has moments of note, a curiosity that's worth your time.
If you're at all curious about how wacky the movie is,
even if you missed the internet meme wave, it's worth engaging with as a weird work that flew too close to the sun.
Yeah. Get yourself a drink, lay back, and pull a Judi. I'm just gonna give it 2 cockroach human hybrids out of 5.
Wow, I was sure you were gonna go 3.
3? No. Yeah. Well, it wasn't for me, so I'm not giving it 3.
Wasn't for me, not giving it 3.
But again, lots of delightful moments. I think for who this movie is for, it delivers.
Yes.
And
it's just not for as many people as it thought it was.
Yeah, it's really particular.
That pretty much wraps it up. Thanks to our early subscribers. If you could comment and let us know how you found this, that would be awesome.
Yeah, give us some feedback.
And in the meantime, have a jellicle night.
Keep it jellicle.
Yeah, keep it jellicle. Goodbye.
There's a cool cat in town, don't you try to take him down. He's a cat, he's a cat, he's a cool cat.
My toes are falling asleep.
It's
scary. My hammy. This quarantine's taking a toll on me. Take me to the heavy side layer. I surrender.